Shalom and welcome to Ta'alamot Ba'ivrit, Secrets in Hebrew. Today we're going to take a look at something in this week's Parsha, Ki Tetzeh, and we're going to look in Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22. And today I'm actually reading out of what's called a tikkun. A tikkun is a tool I really enjoy using because here in the scripture, what we have, it's the Torah, and it's exactly how it's written in an original kosher Torah scroll. So it'll have the minimized letters, the maximized letters, and what's interesting, on the right side, it will have the letters with the vowel markings and cantillation marks, and on the left side of the page, it'll have it exactly how it is in a Torah scroll, just the letters, and so you can go here and really get the purest form of what we know as the Hebrew Bible. So let's look in Deuteronomy 22, and I'm not going to start at verse 1. However, the context of this, to get context of what I'm teaching from verse 4, it would be good to go and read verse 1. But I'm going to start at verse 4. Okay, it says, Lo tireh et chamor achicha o shoro noflim baderech vahit alamta mehem hakem takim imo. So what this says on a regular basic level of the text, and you shall not see the donkey of your brother or his ox falling in the road or in the way, and hide yourself or conceal yourself from him. You shall surely raise up. It literally says you shall surely raise up with him. I'm going to get to that here in a minute, but I want to start and look at how this portrays to the Messiah of Israel. Because if you start in verse 1, this is an incredibly messianic passage. A beautiful insight and prophecy of Messiah. Okay, so in verse 4 it says, Lo tireh et chamor, you shall not see the donkey of your brother. The word chamor is donkey. What's amazing about this word chamor, it's a chet, Mem, Vav, Resh. This is not only the same gematria, but it's the same exact letters as the word Rachum, which is the word for mercy. This right here is donkey. Sorry for my messy handwriting. This word rachum is actually the word that God used in Exodus 34. It's the first time in Exodus 34, it's the first time in the Bible where God comes out and he begins to explain himself in the fullest picture that we've ever seen. We don't see this picture in Genesis, and we don't see it in Exodus at all until up to Exodus 34. In Exodus 34, God says that he is El Rachum V'Chanun. He says, I am the merciful God and compassionate, or merciful God and gracious. El Rachum. El Rachum, the God who is merciful, the merciful God. Well, this is actually a picture of the Messiah. Remember, Messiah comes in the very image of God. There is no difference in thought, deed, or word from Messiah and the Father himself. Okay? And so Rachum is actually a picture of the Mashiach. And so is Chamor, the donkey. Remember, it's prophesied about the Messiah that he would ride into Jerusalem lowly and sitting on a donkey. It represents humility. Well, this word Chamor, it's the same gematria. So Chamor is actually talking about Mashiach. So here in verse 4, when it talks about you shall not see your donkey, or you shall not see the donkey of your brother, it's actually saying you shall not see Mashiach. And so in verse 4 it says, Lo tireh et chamor achicha, you shall not see the donkey of your brother, is actually saying you shall not see the Messiah, your brother, and then it says, O shoro, or his ox. Here's the thing we have to understand about the animals. Paul actually, I'll say it in Paul's words. Paul said in the New Testament, he quotes something from the Torah. He says, do not restrain an ox that treads the grain. And he says, do not muzzle an ox while it treads out the grain. And then he goes on to say, was this scripture written about animals or for people? He goes, of course, it was written about people. The animals are simply symbolic or parables to be used as how people are to have relationships with others. Okay, and so here it says, you shall not see the Messiah, your brother, or his ox. The ox in the scripture represents being a servant. So what it's actually saying is, you shall not see Messiah or his servant. So anybody who is Messiah's, who is our brothers. So if I see my brother in Messiah, that person is a servant, is an ox of the Mashiach. Just like me, I'm a servant, I'm an ox of Messiah Yeshua, right? So in verse 4 it says, Lo tireh et chamor achicha o shoro. You shall not see the Messiah, your brother, or his ox, noflim baderech, falling in the way, or falling on the road. But notice what it says, you shall not hide your face from him, hakem takim imo. And I'm going to translate this better in a moment, but basically what it's saying is you shall raise him up. Think about this, how this points to Messiah, other than the fact that it literally says Messiah, right? Or like how I just showed with Chamor and Rechum, talking about the Mashiach and his servants. Okay, it says that if you see Messiah falling on the road, you are to help him. Think about what happened in the Gospels. Yeshua is carrying his cross, he falls on the road, and Simon helps him carry the cross. Literally helps him carry the cross. He actually lifts up Messiah and helps him carry the cross. This is right here in the Hebrew. It says, Hakem takim imo. It does not say that you shall help him up. It says that you shall rise imo, with him. Not separate, where I just kind of help you up. I go down and I actually come up with him, with Messiah. And what's interesting here, Hakem takim imo, it's actually saying you shall be resurrected with him. You shall be raised with him. It's the word that's used for the resurrection in the Brit Chadashah, the renewed covenant scriptures. And so here it's actually saying that the Messiah is going to be fallen on the road. And notice what Simon did. He came and literally didn't just ask Messiah to get up. He went down and picked up Messiah, carried the cross, imo, with him. And so it says, if you are willing to go low and help Messiah and help our brothers in Messiah that fall in the road, it says, Hakem takim imo, you will be resurrected with the Mashiach of Israel. So I hope that this just encourages you today to be Messiah's keeper, to be your brother's keeper, and stand firm on the fact that we will be resurrected as our Messiah Yeshua was. Shalom and Kol Tuv.